Hey, Tree Believers, Chris Mack coming at you today with Batman Beyond, issue 38. This is the second appearance of Batwoman, and at this point, we still have no idea who she is. And that's what I think I really enjoyed about what Dan Jurgens did here, is instead of just introducing a new character, he built it up over X amount of issues, all the while continuing with the plot of Terry having amnesia. Now, let me go ahead and talk about who made this book, and then I'm going to talk about what kind of chaps my butt when we get to Terry. So this is First Flight, Part 2. Dan Jurgens, writer. Sean Shane, penciler. Sean Parsons, inker. Chris Sotomayor, colors, and Travis Lanham, letterer. Here's everyone else working on the book. Now, as I just said, the last arc before this, Terry got amnesia through the machinations of Falseface. He died taking Terry's memories with him. Now, that could be interesting. Now, because I was reading Batman Beyond up to this point, and it could have been interesting if this was the only book that was utilizing the amnesia trope. However, during this time period, we had Dick Grayson having amnesia. We had Aquaman having amnesia. And now we have Terry McGinnis. Yeah, I read some of the Nightwing that was also written by Dan Jurgens, which was good, but you just lose that Nightwing oomph. I read a couple of Aquamans with him having amnesia. It was okay, I suppose. But when I saw that they were giving Terry amnesia, I went, nope. 3 times is enough, and I noped out, which made me miss out on the first appearance of this character. And I was like, damn it. But there's only so much you could take of a trope before you give up. Anyway, getting back into it, I went to my local comic shop and I tried to grab as many of these issues as I could find. And as you can see, the line work, the colors, the inking just adds to this. And I think what I enjoy the most, again, spoilers if none of you have read these. I know these are a couple of years old. Who cares? There's still a lot of us that haven't read these. With that said, Bruce and Matt, Terry's brother, who is now Robin, have no idea who this Batwoman is. They just know that the Batsuit was stolen 2 issues ago, and so they split up. First, Bruce goes to Barbara. At this point in the future, Barbara Gordon is the police commissioner. And I like how Bruce lands on GCPD's headquarters and says, "You should have come to me first, Barbara." About you getting back in the game. Not following you. What game? If you wanted to be Batgirl again, you should have asked. You didn't need to steal the suit. And this is great. A beat for her to process. And then she just breaks up laughing. She's like, "You really think that I have so much time as commissioner that I would go and act like I were 25 again?" And I like how Bruce kind of gets down to brass tacks because he knows Barbara. He goes, "What I think is that Batman went missing, and you know the city can't go unprotected." But Barbara, she tries to be like her father, or she tries to keep corruptment out of the police department. And she's saying, my people are more than capable. So with that, we jump over to Melanie Walker. If you've never read any of the books, her name should sound familiar because she was in the Royal Flush game from the original Batman Beyond cartoon. She knows who Terry is at this point. I don't know if they have a relationship. Dana, too, has kind of fallen by the wayside. So at this point, I have no idea which person Terry is with. But Matt comes and says, "You've already stolen used his utility belt. Why stop there?" And he's like, "Don't you know what I'm talking about, Melanie?" And just like with Barbara, she just starts breaking up laughing. And so what I like here too is it kind of shows Bruce's age, because we watch shows where he's able to figure out who's who, whether supervillain, superhero, relatively quick. But here he's struggling a little bit. He cannot think who this possibly could be. Now, with that said, we cut over to Terry. And This woman, I cannot remember what her name is off the top, Constance. She's kind of taken Terry under her wing. And again, when you read this, she's an interesting character, how she used to work for Derek Powers. And in this future, which is kind of creepy if you think about it, how all currency's on these discs, and if they're not recognized, you have to do a retinal scan. Anyway, moving on. So she's able to, even though like she'll grab like someone's disc like this, and it'll say that the computer's saying that does not match, get ready for a retina scan. So she's able to manipulate it. And that's how her and Terry are kind of able to currently survive on the streets. And Barbara, again, is trying to hunt Terry down. Because at this point, he's hijacked a truck and allegedly murdered someone. So he's a danger to himself and others. And Constance is saying, we need to run from the police. So, of course, he dodges Barbara. And they go to jump off a building. And Constance is like, you better know what you're doing. I don't really know why, but yeah, I do. And yes, that's exactly how I heard the voice in my head. But it shows, freaking ads, I swear, him using a rocket pack, and Constance is like, you've done this before. And Terry's like, I don't really know how. So here you kind of get a backstory about Constance and her involvement with Derek Powers from the very beginning to his death. And speaking of Derek Powers, you guys might want to check this book out, because there may be something to do with him and the new Batwoman Beyond. So overall, guys, short review, because I don't want to spoil too much of this book. Because it's actually, there's a lot of great action fighting scenes, and the artwork just really makes Dan Jurgens' story pop. It is a great combination overall. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little bat bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.